What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to show you two new sizes of a fishing line that is probably the most well-respected fluorocarbon line on the market. You know, if you were to ask a bunch of different pros what the best overall fluorocarbon that is available on the market, they would probably say Tatsu from Seaguar. Tatsu is just one of those types of products that people really respect for a variety of reasons. Number one, it's one of the most manageable fluorocarbon lines out there, so you can use it on both spinning gear and bait casting gear. It's got great knot strength, it's really abrasion resistant, and it also has a smaller diameter per pound test compared to other brands. So it's just a really great overall fluorocarbon line. A lot of pros use it, and they've got two new sizes. You've got the new 17-pound test and the new 22-pound test. And so I wanted to go through these two different line sizes that are just now coming out and go through the different techniques and situations I'm going to be using either of them. I'm really excited about both of these because they kind of fill a big gap in the Tatsu line. You know, between the 15 and 20-pound test range, you got the 17, and now between the 20 and the 25-pound test, you've got 22. So that adds a little bit of nuance to some presentations that you might want a slightly different diameter line or a slightly different strength line. So let's get into the techniques that I think right off the bat I'm going to be using the 17 and the 22-pound test Tatsu for. Alright, so let's start with the 17. The 17 I think is going to be the most versatile of these two lines. You can use it for a lot of different situations. I know that you know, with other types of Seaguar line like the Brazex that already has 17-pound test in the line, it's one of my favorite line sizes for fishing a chatterbait, a spinnerbait, or even a shallow diving crankbait, you know, in real shallow water. 17-pound test is just a really good size. It's not quite as bulky as, you know, 20-pound test, but it's a lot stronger than 15-pound test. So if I'm fishing in those situations where I'm fishing around cover, vegetation, you know, throwing those chatterbaits, maybe those swim jigs or spinner baits, 17-pound test is really good. And it's also going to allow me to get baits a slightly deeper. Like if I'm fishing a chatterbait and I want it to go down maybe an extra, you know, 6 inches to a foot without having to really dig the rod tip down into the water, but still having a really strong line, 17-pound test is going to be a really good option for that. And also 17-pound test is one of my favorites for fishing slightly stained water, slightly dirtier water with something like a football jig or a big 10-inch worm. 17 is just a really good size, especially if you're fishing on like TVA lakes or someplace where there's just giant fish and a lot of cover. 17-pound test is really good for those bottom bouncing techniques too. So you can use it in a lot of different situations, but those are some of my favorite situations that I traditionally use 17-pound test, and Tatsu is only going to make it a lot better. So really excited to have 17 in between the 15 and 20-pound test Tatsu, but I'm also really excited about this one right here. 22-pound test is going to be really clutch for me. I love flipping and pitching. That's one of my favorite things to do. And one thing that I've struggled with a little bit in the past is the fact that the two line sizes that I flip with when I'm flipping hard cover, like docks, brush piles, or just submerged brush, laydowns, anything like that, is kind of finding the balance between, you know, fishing 20-pound test, which allows me to get that bait falling faster, but I don't have quite as much fighting power, and going up to 25-pound test, which reduces the speed of the fall, but in turn also allows me to horse those big fish out of that heavy cover. Now I can kind of get something that's right in between, so I can get that rate of fall that I'm looking for. I don't have as much of a bulky line as 25-pound test, but I've got a considerably stronger line. So if you're faced with those situations where you're flipping and pitching hard cover, and you don't quite want to downsize to 20-pound test, but 25 might be a little bit too bulky, 22 pound test is a really good line size. So I'm really excited about the flipping application for the 22 pound test. But some other techniques I think the 22 pound tester is also going to excel at is throwing a flutter spoon. You know, I like using 20 to 25 pound test, a fluorocarbon for my flutter spoons to help me kind of slow the fall a little bit. And 22 is going to be a really good size to kind of add into the mix to kind of be able to control the rate of fall even a little bit more fine-tuned. So flutter spoons, and also swim baits, you know, either a paddle tail swim bait or a glide bait. I think 22 pound test is going to be a really good addition to you swim baiters out there. You know, I'm not much of a swim bait fisherman. I do fish some paddle tails occasionally, especially ledge fishing, but I know that a lot of guys like to fish 25 pound test, but 22 pound test is going to be a really good line size to kind of tweak, you know, the depth that those baits run, and also just the overall strength of the line itself. So, and getting those baits to work a little bit freer. You know, the stiffer the line, the stiffer the action of the bait. And so 22 pound test is going to allow that bait a little bit more action, a little bit more freedom to move around. So anyways, those are some of the things that I think that these new line sizes are going to really excel at. But really, sky's the limit, man. If you wanted a line that was in between that 15 and 20 pound test in Tatsu, and also that 20 and 25 pound range, now we've got them. Now we've got line size to pretty much cover every application. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you comment below if you have any questions or comments, and make sure you like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out Seaguar.com and also 44tackle.com to be able to buy these new sizes of Tatsu. Take care, guys.